Hello students, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jagdeep. In this video series, we are talking about market structures. In our previous video, we talked about producer's equilibrium under MRMC approach when price falls. This video shall focus upon price determination under perfect competition. So without wasting any time further, let's get started. So before we begin and take a look at how the price is determined under a perfectly competitive market, let's do a quick recap on the features or important traits of a perfectly competitive market. So under a perfectly competitive market, we have many buyers and many sellers. Now, what does this imply? This implies that an individual buyer or an individual seller will not be able to influence the price in the market. Another feature is that the sellers in a perfectly competitive market are price takers. Correct? Price takers means that they accept the price determined by the demand and supply forces in that market. Apart from that, another feature is freedom of entry and exit. That means the firms are free to enter the market whenever the markets are profitable, and they may exit the market whenever the firms are experiencing serious losses. Another feature that sets this market apart from other market structures are everybody has perfect knowledge. Perfect knowledge means the consumers and the producers, they have perfect knowledge with regards to the prices and the trends that prevail in the market. And finally, the commodities that are dealt in this market are homogeneous. For those who are interested in understanding perfectly competitive markets, you can check out the video on perfectly competitive markets features. Now let's take a look at how the price and output are determined under a perfectly competitive market. Students, if you find this topic challenging, why not join one of my online tutoring sessions? We could dive deeper into concepts, and I'm already working with students across the countries like UAE and Singapore. You can reach me directly at the number on your screen. Do not miss on a complimentary 30-minute session. Now let's get back into the diagrammatic representation as to how the price could be determined in a perfectly competitive market. Now, as we can see, we have two representations over here. One is talking about the industry and the other about the firms. In an industry, under perfectly competitive market, this is what the supply curve would look like, and this is how your demand curve would look like, and this is basically your price at equilibrium and your quantity demanded and supplied at the equilibrium. Now, as we've mentioned above in the features, that firms under a perfectly competitive market are price takers. So this firm in a perfectly competitive market, this individual firm would take up this price, which is PE, accept this price. Let's put that in the diagram over here. So let's get this over here. So this is basically the price that will be accepted by the firm. Now, when we talk about an individual firm in a perfectly competitive market, their revenue basically would depend upon how many units of the output or the product or the commodity are they selling at price PE. That's what would give them their TR. TR is basically total revenue, and it's calculated as price times quantity. So we already have the price, which is determined by the demand and supply forces in this particular diagram. The firm has accepted the same price, and now all it has to do is decide on the level of output that it needs to sell to maximize their revenues. All right. Another segment that a firm would have to pay attention to is their marginal costs. Now, when we draw a marginal cost curve, let us say this is the marginal cost curve, MC. I did not name the other curve, which is MR, or probably AR, which is the price, or as we know, the demand curve. So it's MR, AR and D. Okay. Now, there is an intersection point in this diagram pertaining to the firms, which is this. Let's get a perpendicular plotted from here as well. Now this is the quantity that this individual firm would want to sell at price PE to get its profit maximized. For those who don't know how did we get this figure, we need to understand the profit maximization rule, which was MC is equal to MR. Let me jot that down as well somewhere over here. So profit maximization was MC equals MR, and another segment was MC cuts MR from below, correct? So this is the point. Let me give it a name again. So let us call it as point E. This is the point where MC is intersecting the MR curve, which is the marginal revenue curve, and this is the point where MC is intersecting the MR curve from below. Students, if you find this video helpful, I invite you to show your support by using the super thanks button below. Your contributions are incredibly important because they empower me to keep delivering high quality and free content that benefits students like you. Remember, every little bit counts. Now let's try and see why a single seller or a single buyer is not capable of influencing the price. Let us say if the seller is willing to sell at this particular point. Alright. Now at this point, what is the situation? First of all, MC is greater than MR, and secondly, this is a price above the equilibrium price or the price determined by the market. So no buyer is going to buy commodities from this firm at this particular price. Hence, it indicates a loss. However, if the seller is willing to put the price down, let us say P2. Now at this particular price, there will be a lot of buyers who would be willing to buy from him, but he may not be making enough money to sustain in the business. He may not be making money enough to remain in the business, and eventually he may be compelled to exit the market. Hence, it is not possible for a single firm to influence the price, and this is what makes them a price taker. In the next video, we will take a look at how price is determined under imperfectly competitive markets. Students, if you find learning through long videos daunting, you could also follow me over my Instagram channel. So I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, bye now. Take care.